What's going on, YouTube? Evil Foo here again. I swear, when I started thinking about doing a YouTube video years ago when I lived in Las Vegas, I was planning on doing a wasteland survival video. I have a military background. I was a mercenary for a while. I'm good in hand-to-hand combat, small weapons, edged weapons, things like that. So I wanted to do kind of like FPS Russia, where that was fake and stupid, but was extremely successful. But kind of similar to that. I mean, he was doing a character, that guy, at the time, and I was going to be in a character as well. So it's going to be fake, but real techniques like how to survive, how to, defend yourself, how to use weapons and fight and things like that, of that nature. That was what I wanted to do with YouTube. But I was working like 80 to 100 hours a week back then. My schedule just never really opened up enough where I could do that. I have notebooks full of ideas for that. Maybe one day when I move to a similar environment again, where there's desert or the woods that I have easy access to, I can go out into a lot and do some filming. Maybe I can do that, the series I always wanted to do. And then a few years ago when I started doing this channel, I wanted to do, I'm a total geek. I like to think of myself as a geek that can beat the crap out of most people. It's kind of a contradiction. Like, geeks are supposed to, typically, recently, the last 10 years or so, geeks have been, they're cool now. But I've been a geek my whole life. And, geeks always used to be kind of perceived as weak or small or whatever. I'm not a huge guy by any means. Right now, I'm huge because I'm fat. But I'm 6 foot. When I'm in shape but not muscular, I'm 180. When I put on muscles, I'm usually right around 220-ish or so. The biggest I've ever been was 245 when I was really lifting weights a lot. No steroids or anything, just tons of protein and calories and lots of weights. I'm going to get back into shape soon. I'm totally rambling already on this video. But my point was, a few years ago when I started doing this channel, I wanted to do gaming and movie related things. I wanted to do, but then life kind of had other plans, things happened, so I stopped doing YouTube. Like right as I figured out how to start kind of doing it, I stopped doing it, didn't do it. So I sat for years, and just recently I started doing it again, but more of a focused idea. Like, I want to do at least one movie related and one gaming related video a week. But things have happened, transpired. It's almost as if I'm not supposed to do YouTube. I'm just doing this for fun anyways. But it seems like things are always happening that make it hard for me to do YouTube. Anyways, I'm trying to stick to this now. I posted my thoughts on Will Smith and Chris Rock a couple days ago, and I got a lot of traction with that, a lot of support actually, and a lot of people that agreed with my take, which surprised me because on social media all over it's the opposite. They're always saying, oh, Will Smith is right and all this kind of stuff, which is, he's not. So anyways, my point is, I didn't want to do like societal commentary or commentating on things that are happening in the news or anything like that. That's not my intent with this channel at all. But something came up again today that I want to talk about real quick, and then I can get back to, like, I have next to me over here off camera, I have, like, I'm going to unbox a bunch of stuff that I have, like months and months worth of geek stuff I've bought since way before Christmas, and all my Christmas presents, things like that. It's always been sitting here, like my Xbox fridge somewhere behind me back here. There's my Xbox fridge. I haven't even plugged that in or anything yet. I need to get all that going and get on track with my once a week video of movies and gaming. But I want to mention real quick, or talk about real quick, the whole Elliot Page thing with Umbrella Academy season 3 on Netflix. Elliot Page, formerly Ellen Page, he's an actor. He came out as transgender a couple of years ago, has done conversion now, and so he's now, Ellen Page has become Elliot Page, which I'm all for. Trans and gay rights, any kind of whatever you're into, I'm cool with. I'm a Star Trek guy. Like, I want to have sex with blue aliens. Like, I don't judge. But sometimes it's a little much. So I know there's the whole get woke, go broke thing. I'm not saying anything like that. I don't lean necessarily to the right or the left necessarily. My politics are all over the place. I'm mostly left. I think some things on the right, but just they're both so extreme. I don't know. It's kind of ridiculous. Politics for the last 10 years or so has just been ridiculous. Anyway, so they did a big Netflix. Netflix kind of pushes an agenda about. It's not an agenda necessarily, but they're very proud of their LGBT representation in their shows and things like that. So they're very excited to announce that Elliot Page's character, formerly was it Vanya Hargreaves? She's number 7 on Umbrella Academy. She eventually becomes the white violin. She's like the main well, I don't want to spoil it, but anyway, she's one of the main characters. She might be the top billed star in that show. There's a lot of unknowns on that show, or previously unknowns. Now they're all kind of successful, probably. But they're very proud of the fact that Elliot Page announced it today, but Netflix retweeted it, that introducing Victor Hargreaves. So they're now changing her character, Vanya Hargreaves, because Elliot is now, is transgender now. She didn't want to come back, or he didn't want to come back and play a woman. So now they're making the character transgender, and Netflix is very proud of that. Oh, it's transgender representation. They're trumpeting it from the rooftops. They're screaming it down to the masses. Ha! Look at us! Look what we've done. We've done something so wonderful. And they're saying, art is imitating life, and how beautiful and wonderful it is. And I don't think that's necessarily true or the best take. First of all, acting is make-believe. It's all fake. It's all pretend. Even the true stories, or based on true stories, things like that, they're highly, highly indulged and fictionalized and exaggerated, and a lot of it's is made up. But it's fake. You're not playing that person. Even when they get the person to play themselves, like Muhammad Ali, who played himself in a movie, and I think Audie Murphy back in the day, he's a freak, by the way, little Audie Murphy, played himself in a movie. And a lot of people have played themselves in movies. Even that version of themselves is fake, you know what I mean? Like Nicolas Cage in the Unbearable or Immense Weight of Talent, whatever that new movie he has coming out, or it might be out right now, which looks amazing, by the way. He's playing a fictionalized version of himself. Keanu Reeves recently played himself in a movie. They're playing fictionalized versions of themselves. My point is, as an actor, it's literally your job to pretend to be somebody else. You're pretending to be a completely different person. And there's been this big movement in the last 5-6 years, maybe a little longer, but it really gained traction in the last 5-6 years, where gay and lesbian and transgenders are the LGBT community. And I don't mean to dismiss it. I know it's, LGBTQI plus or something like that. It's this huge acronym now, which I think is a little much. LGBT is perfectly succinct, and it sums up to me. And I don't mean to be dismissive or insult anybody. I'm not trying to do that at all. Fly your freak flag. I love it, but I think the acronym could definitely be changed, shortened, or it's a little long. It's a little much. But anyways, there's been a big movement in that community where they don't want straight character or straight actors playing gay characters. They don't want straight actors or binary actors, whatever, playing transgender characters. They want that to be played by, if it's a gay guy, they want a gay actor to play. If it's a lesbian, they want a lesbian to play the part. If it's a transgender, they want a transgender to play that. And there are some great transgender actors and gay and lesbian actors. That's not my point. My point is, it should go to whoever gives the best performance, whoever is best for that role, regardless of sexual orientation or sexual identity, orientation. I'm not really sure what that's called. Geez, I need to brush up on my trans lingo. I'm coming across very douchey, I'm sure, which I am kind of a douchebag, but that's not my point. My point is, it's all make-believe. Now, I do think different races playing different races is kind of much, unless it's like Alien or something like that, where you can put like some kind of prosthetic on, where it doesn't really matter then. But like, probably a white guy shouldn't play a black guy. A white woman shouldn't play an Asian character. Because that's a little much. There's plenty of actors of those actual races. Like I think of like John Wayne played Genghis Khan back in the day, and Mickey Rooney was at Breakfast at Tiffany's. One of the I'm pretty sure it's Breakfast at Tiffany's. He's like the landlord, and he plays this he's a Japanese guy. It's super offensive, just terrible. But like all the Native Americans portrayed in a lot of the older films were all white guys. It's just, that kind of stuff is a little much. They need to stop that. But I think as far as your sexual identity, what does that have to do with your acting ability? It doesn't really do anything. My point is, with this show, and I'm sure this show is based off of Dark Horse Comics, created by Gerard Way, I think was the writer. He's an executive producer now. And Gabriel Ba was the illustrator for Dark Horse Comics. The show is based on that comics, the Umbrella Academy. I'm sure they've given they're executive producers on the show, which is kind of just like a vanity title. It doesn't really have much power in Hollywood, but I'm sure they had to give their approval. If not, maybe they don't agree, but they're probably not going to say anything because, you know, they're going to make money off of this. But if they do approve of it, that's fine. That's great that they approve of it, or they don't approve of it. I don't care one way or the other. My point is, you shouldn't change an established character's gender or sexual orientation based on the actor playing them. I think that does a terrible disservice to the actual character itself. The character is already an established thing. Like, you wanted to keep Elliot Page on the show, maybe kill off Vanya. I mean, there's multiple timelines and all kinds of things in that shit. It's a comic book show. It's a fake fantasy, science fiction type thing. There could have been any number of ways. Maybe she's, you know, if she wanted to be Victor Hargreaves instead of Vanya, fine. That's from a different dimension or something. Kill off Vanya and now bring in Victor. That's fine. Like the Flash TV show does that all the time with I can't think of the actor's name or the name of the characters he plays, but the same guy. They kill him off pretty much in every season. He comes back as a different character from a different dimension in another season. But I used to watch that show a long time ago. It's all right. My point is, you shouldn't change a character. Like, I remember when J.J. Abrams rebooted the Star Trek series, and they recast everybody, and John Cho was playing Sulu, and I don't know if it's the first movie, or if they're explicit about it in the first movie, or they don't show it until the second movie. I can't remember. I'd have to look it up, but they established that Sulu, because George Takei is gay in real life and had come out. Well, Sulu in the reboot is now gay. He's married and has a child, married to a man and has a child. And George Takei was actually kind of pissed off about it at the time, and he said so. You know, he said, yes, I'm a gay man. I'm gay, but the character I was playing, Sulu, was not gay. So it kind of offended him that, you know, the woke crowd, or whatever you want to call them, the social justice warriors, wanted to change it to they thought, it's always these privileged white kids that are always speaking, they have the loudest voices about what representation needs to be, and racism and sexism and all these different things. But anyways, I like to call them social justice warriors. I know that's a passé term these days. That's way oversimplified. But they thought they were doing a service to him, like he should be grateful or honored, like, oh, we're paying you respect, we made your character gay. It actually did the opposite. It offended him. It's like, well, I am gay, but my character wasn't. And being an actor, it's all make-believe. You could play gay, you could play straight, you could play asexual, whatever you want to, pansexual, whatever you want to do, which I had to look up, by the way. I hadn't heard the term pansexual. I guess I'm old now, I'm out of touch with things. But when the Solo movie came out, they announced that Donald Glover's interpretation of Lando Calrissian was going to be pansexual or something, because turns out he was like fucking his robot in the movie or something. I finally watched it recently. I didn't want to, but it was okay. I don't see anybody else as Han Solo besides Harrison Ford. Anyways, my point is, I had to look up. I had never heard the term pansexual before, and I'm into it. It's cool. It's whatever. My point is, an actor is an actor. It's your job to make believe. You're not supposed to be playing yourself. You're not supposed to be playing your own personal politics or anything else. It's make believe. You're supposed to do your best selling of this make believe thing. So you shouldn't change a character, an established character, because of the actor playing them, or the writer writing them, or one of the producers producing. You know, they want to change it just because they identify differently. Like, well, let's make the character identify differently. No, the character's already established. Keep the character as it is. Make a new character. Kill the old character off. Bring in a new character. Whatever you want to do. It doesn't need to be changed. Just like the arguments for like a black Superman and things like that. Which is, again, I'm bringing racism into this sexual identity thing, which isn't really, it's not the same thing at all. But I'm saying it's a similar sentiment in Hollywood or in writing or whatever you want to say. They want to change these characters to give them more representation, which is cool in a way. I love the idea of it. But why not just, like, look at Miles Morales, Spider-Man. He's a different Spider-Man than Peter Parker, and it's awesome. He's awesome. You can do the same thing with Superman. You can do the same thing with James Bond. James Bond, I kind of like the idea that it's just a name that you're given when you get the 007 designation. So that could be a black guy, could be a woman. I think it was a woman in the most recent James Bond movie. But I'm totally cool with that. But most characters, just portray them as what they are. If you want to do more representation, make new characters. It's not that hard. Make new characters. My point is, your politics, your thing that you identify with, what you do as an actor, shouldn't influence the roles. Like, I can see, especially if you're successful, you can pick and choose what roles you want to portray, obviously. But if there's a fantastic role and the character is portraying something that you don't agree with, would you really turn that down? Or would you still take the fantastic role and just make it explicit in interviews or whatever that's not how you personally believe? I don't think people are so dumb that they think the actors playing these characters are those characters. That's what they believe. Like, I don't think anybody looks at Patrick Stewart and says, oh man, I wonder if he's reading my mind right now. That's stupid. I remember Scarlett Johansson going on with the kind of like the George Takei Sulu thing. She was cast in some movie. She was going to play a transsexual man. And there's a huge outrage about it, which is funny because she also had outrage for playing the main character in the Ghost in the Shell, Ghost in the Machine. I can't think, I'm a moron. Anyways, and she ended up turning down the role because of the outrage over it, because she wasn't actually transgender. I think that really can hurt a project or an artistic work. Art doesn't need to imitate life. Art is art. And you bring in things for like a movie or whatever, you bring in what works best to portray that vision. The politics or the sexual identity of the person playing the character shouldn't fucking matter. Give the best performance you can. All right, this is the Evil Foo. I'll be back with some actual videos on my YouTube channel in the next few days. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you're gonna do Kung Fu, keep it evil.
I hate to see you go, but I love to watch you leave.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out.